There we go. Okay, my audio was not working. Thank you everyone for joining in on a live stream again. Yes, no sound, no sound. We should be working now. I've got a lot of news updates for this live stream here. Just double checking the audio. It will come in a second. It will come in. There we go. Sorry about that, but we should be good now. I've got multiple mute buttons on the microphone. Anyway, let me start again. So we've got a lot of news stories. There's always drama in the Cardano space, right? So it's something to keep us interested in the bear market. There's always something going on, and I'm going to piece together all these little bits and pieces that has happened since last week, so that you know exactly what's going on. And I've got a couple of nicer and feel-good news stories to pepper in there too. So you won't be all down with all this bad news and all this drama. But anyway, let's get into all these little news items here. So the very first one here, let me just pull this up. Yes, there's always drama. Let's go to the stream layout. So here, first off, now for anyone that has launched a NFT project before, I'm launching mine for the first time. This has been a long time in the making, been working with it since January this year. I could have minted earlier, but finally we're at the date where this is going to be minted, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure everything is perfect. You can find out a little bit more on our website. Links are in the show notes already, so you can find out a little bit more about it, what we're trying to do with the whole CardanoPress ecosystem, building WordPress websites and connecting them with the Cardano blockchain. So it's a brilliant tool, and I'm seeing more and more websites picking it up and building on CardanoPress. So pretty excited to get this NFT funding so we can take this project further and hit some of our milestones on our roadmap. Anyway, if you were a part of the whitelist process, the links are in the show notes as well. These are a lot of addresses that have made it into the whitelist, about 800 or so. 823. It doesn't mean that they'll all be minting. It just means that they can mint. So I don't know if there are going to be active minters or not, but there's quite a few there. So I'm happy with that. Now I use this platform. If anyone's used this before or thought about or thinking about minting their own NFT collection, I've used Saturn NFT by Avatar Nick. Very good developer, and this is just a little sneak peek into the collection here. And I have to say the creation process for an NFT collection using this has been really nice. If you've ever thought about creating an NFT collection, I've used NMaker and Saturn NFT. The experiences are pretty much identical on either platform. They've got all these like different little features in there as well. So if you've ever wanted to create a collection, it is super easy. Both of the platforms, I didn't need to code anything. There was just a bit of a process with the metadata and things around that, but overall it was such an easy process. There's 10,000 of these in here. So there's a couple of UI improvements I think Nick can do just to make this a little bit easier, but overall simple, easy process for anyone that wants to create their own NFT collection. Absolutely love it. Anyway, let's get into some of these news items here. If anyone's minting the CardanoPress Wapuus, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So let's get into these news items here. And there's been a couple more announcements around the Cardano Summit over in Dubai later this year, 2nd to 4th of November in Dubai. They are the agenda is up. So if you're wanting to actually know who's speaking at the event, the agenda is up now, and you'll be able to see the general schedule and everything around it. Yes, Marcel, thank you for the advice there. The next thing here that you might want to look into is some of these little mini events that the Cardano Summit are putting on. So this one here is the Battle of the Builders, and this one's for all those little early stage Cardano startups. So if you're building a project on Cardano or even thinking about it, and you happen to be going to Dubai, you can participate in this little pitch fest. And I don't know the details in regards to how long you have to pitch, like how the time, like 3-5 minutes, whatever it is, but you get to pitch your proposal or your idea or concept or what you guys are building to a panel there, and you'll be able to possibly win some surprises. I'm not sure. Here we go. Let's have a look. Shortlisting, pitching, winners. So I don't know what the prizes are. Here we go, prizes. 1 free enrollment in batch 6 of CV Lab Accelerator. 3 startup automatically onboarded to Genius X Accelerator program. So it's if your idea is good, you'll be pretty much rolled into their ecosystem and have some really great advisors taking through and helping you build your idea and concept. So maybe there's a little bit of funding in there. Maybe it's an opportunity to get some funding. Everyone's fighting for funding at the moment. So have a look into that. If you're building something Cardano and you're going to the summit, it might be very worthwhile. The other thing that they have here, so just checking the comments. Lordy, good to have you here. Yeah, it's pretty much like a Shark Tank. I don't think as entertaining, but who knows. The other thing they have here is the NFT gallery. So if you are an NFT project, you're an artist, minting on Cardano, you can put up your pieces into the NFT gallery. Now, I remember last year, I saw glimpses of it. They had these TV stands all around the conference venue. So as you walk through the space, you could see all these artists that had minted on Cardano. You can see their collections all over the place. So, if you're minting, if you're creating on the Cardano blockchain, submit your artwork. It would be a great way to get exposure and have more eyeballs on your artwork and showcase what's actually been done on the Cardano blockchain. So check that one out, guys. The last one here, the virtual attendance, it's coming up soon. So the app is launching on the 10th of October. So it's kind of nice how all these events, these Cardano-centric events are all staggered out. So we had Rare Evo, we have NFTxLV pretty much at the end of this week. And then now the Cardano Summit over in November. But all the ramp up and everything is all spaced out nicely so that we can actually rest for a second. And those people that can go can hop over to all these events and get themselves ready for it too. So it's good that it's all staggered out, and I absolutely love that. But check out these dates here. If you're going, you'll be able to get the app. If you're not, the virtual app for virtual attendance, register now. 10th of October for everything else on the app. All right. So like I said, NFTxLV is coming up this weekend, and I'm starting to see a lot of posts in regards to it. A lot of people are already flying into Vegas. Sure, they're going early. The weather's good, right? And I am getting extremely jealous that I can't go. I'm really wish I could go. I had an absolute blast last year. And you can see here, there's lots of people posting photos, their travel pics and everything else around it. Maybe next year, we'll see how the market is, and hopefully I can get over there. I'll have an NFT project at least, so I can pimp that and get a stand or something, sell some merchandise or give away some merchandise. The interesting thing here is they've got the rough agenda out. So we've got the mixer kickoff party, and you've got the general outline of everything that's happening. Now, I know they do usually do events and presentations for it as well. Here we go. So we've got a couple of the things here, the pre ones. So this is like the SBO meeting by the foundation beforehand. There is a couple of things. Oh, here we go. Yes, they do. So they do have some of the talks and everything out. So if you are going, attend some of these presentations and talks. So we've got Cardano Foundation and IOG putting up some really good presentations here. A lot of the tech side as well. So, it's probably really good to jump in and see all these. There's actually quite a few. Wow, there's a lot. Powered by, right, okay. Ken Adams. A lot of good names here. A lot of names I recognize in the space. Whew. Yeah, like I said, wish I could go. But anyway, if you can go, the tickets are really cheap. If you get the tickets, it's just the general admission for a day pass. I think it was like $40 or something. I'm just trying to load it up here. The website's being a little bit slow for me. But if that loads, we'll be able to see the ticket prices. Not loading. Sorry. I usually have everything opened beforehand, but here I'm just getting a spinning black page. I'll come back to that if that stops spinning. Anyway. All right. Now, for some these smaller news items, and I thought this was an absolutely brilliant one. Now, if you're thinking about ever starting a node, and this is a good reason why I mentioned this, but if you ever wanted to start up a Cardano node so that you could develop against it, you could submit your own transactions from it, you can do so now using Docker and something that Blink Labs had put together. So I did an interview with Chris from Blink Labs. I think I posted it 2 weeks ago. You can check it out in the playlist, but a really good development team. But he's put together a one-liner where you could run Docker and get the Cardano node up and running within one step, one process. Of course, it will take a little while to install, configure everything, and then sync the node with Mithril, so Mithril, bleeding edge technology. But it's really, really quick and simple to do. Like you can see the little demo down here. So you type in that one command line, it will go off and download and install everything, do the configuration, and then at the end of it, you will have a full Cardano node up and running, and you can start querying transactions, submitting transactions, directly to your node, and you have your own private way to communicate with the Cardano blockchain. So really, really cool stuff out there, and I love seeing this type of development. I know as a Cardano staple operator, it does take a bit of time to set up these nodes, and it's sometimes time consuming, especially if you need to fire up a new relay for whatever reason and connect your nodes to it. It's just an easier process for it. Now, I know a lot of the wallets out there have their own node infrastructure as well. I use Blockfrost, so that they have all that stuff too. So it's time savers like this and automation, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Good to see more of this stuff being done by the dev teams out there. All right, now this is now we're getting to some of the dramas. Now there's a couple of pieces, and I'll just give you a quick overview. There is one with DEX Hunter. So DEX Hunter are doing their token launch, and they're a DEX aggregator. So you'll be able to do a swap through DEX Hunter, and it will go through all the different DEXs on the Cardano ecosystem and do the swaps for you. So that's really cool. We had a JPG Store also launched their token too, and we had some dramas around that. But in regards to all this, none of this is financial advice, and my stance on token launches, IDOs, and all that stuff, I don't participate in them anymore at all. Since 2017, I've participated in countless ICOs and token sales back then. I have to say none of which went anywhere, and I don't know how much money I've lost over the years. I'm pretty sure anyone that's watching, you probably can share the similar sentiments if you were back in the ICO days back then. If you managed to find an ICO that was great, leave a comment, let me know what it was, because I did not luck out at all. So I don't participate in any. The only one that kind of tempted me and changed my mind was Wi-Fi. Other than that, I participated in none of them. Anytime a token launches, you see the price dump pretty much a few hours later. It's a common pattern, always happens. Low liquidity, people come in, they are eager for the token, buying it, watching the price rise, and then just someone else would dump on you. And that was always my case. And I always thought maybe if I just hold longer and longer and longer, it will recover and be better. Never is. So that's just preference token sales with that, and we'll go into the next part here. So DEX Hunter do have their token sale coming up. It's on the 27th. It's the 27th right now. So this is 4 p.m. UTC. So I think it's around 2 a.m. for me here in Australia. So that won't be happening for me. Only go for 1 hour. 70% of the supply is going out. That's a lot. No private sales. So no private sales. So I guess that means no VCs or anything like that. So you shouldn't see the market or large VCs that had the tokens beforehand dumping you. But I don't know the particulars around this and the exact extent of vesting schedules and tokenomics for the project. But they're doing some really cool things. Their development is really interesting, and having options like this to be able to swap through a DEX aggregator will give traders a lot more options to optimize their trades and get the best prices possible across the entire ecosystem. Now, with this launch, there of course has been a little bit of FUD around it, and this is the DEX Hunter drama tech explained. So there was a post up here. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dave here that put out the original post and saying that the team at DEX Hunter have their own node network. So having their own node network means they control the nodes, or they've partnered with people that have their stake pools or whatever it is, and using their ecosystem and infrastructure to probably broadcast out transactions. Now, if you're optimized your transactions through that node network in a particular way, you can broadcast your transactions out faster and get in front of the queue as quickly as possible. So there's ways of doing it. You know, I've optimized my nodes in the past to get as connected as possible throughout the entire Cardano ecosystem. So if a transaction came to my pool, my stake pool, it would be broadcasted out as quickly as possible to all the other pools in the network. So it's about optimization. How quickly does a transaction come in from a particular DEX or whatever it is, and then how quickly that gets broadcast back out. So if you're the service provider that can provide that transaction and that service faster, then the other ones would maybe miss out because they're still sitting in the mempools. So this is a really good post by, I don't know how you say this, JSHY, about how that all works. So I'll just break this down a little bit. I gave you a little bit of an overview here, but is in essence, when you submit a transaction on the Cardano blockchain, there's a number of steps that happen. And the first one here is the transaction gets written. It may be written client side on your browser, through your wallet. It might be written by the DEX or application, whatever it is. But once that is assigned by your private key, by your wallet, it gets submitted to the various nodes and then sits in the mempool. So the nodes receives the transactions, it's validated, then added to the mempool. And this mempool is a queue. And wallets have a mempool. So some of the wallet providers, I believe Eternal, Marcel, I believe you guys have your own mempools that you manage. I know you did before. I don't know if you do now. But the wallets may have one. Blockfrost have their own mempools as well. Or you may be submitting transactions through your own node mempool, such as what you could do with this. So that's why I mentioned it. Quite valid there. So if you're running your own node, like through Datalist even, you can get that transaction through, and then you know that no one's tampering with it. No one can see what's happening in that particular node because it's yours, and you're not relying on other people to play around with it. But anyway, so that transaction will go into the mempool, and then once it's picked up and broadcasted for the next stake pool to mint in the block, then it's added to the chain. So what's the problem here? Transactions in the mempool are unencrypted, meaning the node operator can read them. For example, you can view the mempool on Cardano Scan. So you can see all the transaction there and you know exactly what's happening. So the suggestion from Dave was that the DEX Hunter network would be able to see all of the transactions that would be being submitted through their node network. And that would allow them to see what transactions are coming in, and then they will be able to do their own transactions before that and front run your transaction. Now, is that possible? No, technically true, but no way unique to DEX Hunter. So this is a common thing across any node network. So MinSwap might run their own nodes. MuesliSwap might. SundaySwap have their scoopers. They have a batcher node network. So you know the way that it works isn't unique to what DEX Hunter are doing. And I really believe that DEX Hunter just optimize that process. So any transactions that do go through DEX Hunter get out to the chain a lot quicker so that they can hopefully process, have their transactions processed before other DEXs, before a regular DEX might get the transactions out there. So I think it's a nice way of doing it actually, and you know, optimizing and quickening the transactions on the network. You're saving a couple of seconds here and there, but that's essentially what this whole drama has been about. I'm just checking the comments quickly. Yeah, cool. Hey everyone. Hey Rob. Hey CH. Hey Crypto Moose. Stay loose. Thanks for everyone for being here. Okay, back to this. So there is some level of trust required when you're using software or infrastructure that is managed by someone else. Either you trust your wallet or you trust your dApp. So yeah, there's lots of levels of trust there. Most stateful operators don't do anything with the transactions. They may peek in them, but you know this has been a topic of conversation way back when, like when block sizes were a little bit larger, when SundaeSwap just launched, and then we had Drip Drops launch as well. They had their own node network, and it was possible to change the transaction size or the mempool size, I think it was, so that only certain transactions will fit in. So all sorts of things were being played around with to help optimize the network for particular things. And you know, it's just how it all works. And I don't think there's any malicious intent with any of this. Because you know, I've gone through optimization process very similar to what I believe they're doing too. So in summary here, Dave raised some interesting and valid concerns with the mempool monitoring on Cardano. It is possible to read transactions from the mempool and act on that knowledge before a transaction hits the chain. DEX Hunter really understood that concern and provided an option to use your own nodes. So it's an interesting discussion to have, but it is, in my opinion, not one that should be about DEX Hunter specifically. So that's it. That's that drama there. Hopefully you have a little bit more of an understanding around that one. I thought it was quite interesting. It's good to have this type of conversation and bring it to the forefront. But you know, this is, like I said, has been in the Cardano ecosystem for quite a long time, as long as I've been a stateful operator. Now, this other one here, the conundrum. Now, what has happened with that JPEG token launch? Now, again, this may look really bad. Now, I don't know if I can make this any bigger. There we go. So when the token launched on MintSwap, there were a lot of sell orders here. And you can see these large sell orders. We had 3.1 million, 3 million, 2.8, 2.1, 2.5, 3.27 million JPEG, etc. So, you know, you get the idea. A lot of JPEG tokens were being sold on the market as people were claiming and selling their own tokens as well. So we saw a massive price drop from the initial launch. And now what has come out was essentially the Wave Financial or Wave Digital Asset, whatever their name is now, I'll just call them Wave from this point onwards. They were a VC of JPEG. But they also were acting as a market maker for this particular token launch. That is a market maker. They provide the liquidity on the DEX. So they were given a whole bunch of JPEG tokens, and they also used ADA as well, so that anyone that was wanting to sell, buy, or trade would have that deep liquidity to be able to do so. And there was a lot of ADA on that particular pool. Huge amount. So I think it might have been here. Oh, like if they removed 6.4 million, there was a lot more ADA in there, and I believe it's sitting at like a 2 million ADA or something like that now. So they provided all that ADA to facilitate those particular trades. Now, the behavior from what users were doing when they received their JPEG tokens from the whole XP that they gathered for buying and selling and trading on the JPEG marketplace. So they earned tokens there. They earned the JPEG tokens. They went through a claiming process. And what do you do when you have a whole bunch of free tokens? You sell it. You sell it on the market. You sell it on MintSwap where they could, because it was opened a couple of hours before it was open on OKX, and take your profits. That's essentially it. So people came in, got their JPEG tokens. It was took a little bit of time for some people, and then they just sold them. Now, what Wave Financial, their position, because they were a market maker providing the liquidity for that, they would have been losing a lot of ADA. So ADA would have been removed from their wallets, from their liquidity provisioning, and essentially they would have been bleeding ADA at that point. That's totally fine. They're a market maker. That's what they're doing. So in reaction to that, they would have had to sell as much liquidity as they could in this case JPEG tokens to try and balance out and de-risk their position of being a market maker on there. If they kept all the liquidity there, they could have made a bigger loss. People could have ridden the market and just sold all the way down, and a lot of their ADA would have been zapped out of the market and into the hands of the community, which isn't a bad thing, really. But anyway, it would mean that they wouldn't do this again for other token launches and token events. So we had Bobcorn here, Bobcorn Ada. He's a really good forensic pulling apart type of person that can work out what's happening here. So he's got a TLDR here, too long, didn't read. Although sus and frowned upon behavior, this was not a liquidity draining event nor dump on the market. They profited about 60K, so far from it. And you can read down a little bit further to understand the details here, but I essentially broke it down for you. So they were acting as a market maker. They were de-risking their exposure to the market, selling because of that huge sell pressure at the moment for the token, because everyone gets 3 tokens, you sell it. So they, the market maker here profited about 60K ADA. We can dig in deeper, read the transactions, and work out exactly how much they made or lost. But on average here, at this time, still the pool is at 22 million JPEG with 2.2 million ADA. So it's at a price of 0.098. So, you know, it's not dramatic from its launch here. You can see the price there, and it's just dropped down just below that 0.1. And you know, that's what market maker does. They try and provide liquidity and stabilize the price. They provide that, and they probably moved JPEG tokens over to OKX as well to be a market maker there and provide liquidity. So it's interesting how things play out. Now, because of that massive dumping of the price, people would have thought and seen it, and freaked out and went, whoa, rug pull by JPEG Store. JPEG is just ripping out the liquidity. They're the biggest NFT marketplace on the Cardano ecosystem, and now they're actually taking all of our liquidity. So that's what it really looked like. The community all went into a panic. But overall, I think it was normal. It's a normal trading patterns, normal behavior across the market maker and everything else. So this is what we saw here. For those that don't know, didn't see, we saw that massive spike up, nice high price of 0.17, and then the drop as all those sell orders came in. Then someone bought in, and it continuously goes down again. So we got a stabilization of the price at 0.08 here. And I'm glad I didn't participate in any of this, because I didn't earn much XP on JPEG, and I would have probably bought in thinking it would have gone up again. I'm always wrong about this. So I would have been, seeing this and went, oh yeah, gonna buy, and then lose out. That's why I don't trade. That's why I haven't started trading yet either. I'm terrible at this stuff. Okay, so that's the JPEG drama. We've got a little bit of drama there from the DEX Hunter, JPEG. What else we got here? Okay, now this is some good that has come out of all that, because everyone's like up in arms and saying, oh, JPEG's terrible, JPEG's terrible. I don't think they are. I resonate with what Cardano Thor says here as well. JPEG Store has done a lot for a lot of the NFT projects out there. It has done a lot for the Cardano ecosystem. We started off with CNFT.io, and that was a clunky system, wasn't it? But JPEG Store came around. They had royalties, they had smart contracts, they sped up the process for the buyers, and it was a very nice experience. So, they grew with that innovation, but a lot of people feel like they're not growing as much or innovating as much, and we have a lot of other NFT marketplaces. So DropSpot is making waves at the moment with liquid offers as well. I still don't know what that is. I will work it out. We have Plutus Art, we have Create, which is doing some really good things. Jam on Bread, Flipper, CSwap, Dex, NMaker have their own marketplaces too. You can white label your own marketplace. Book.io, Project Noom, SoundRig, Demu, they're all using Web3 music marketplaces. Grab It with their upcoming auction marketplace as well. Then we have a whole bunch of independent ones too. It's it's highlighted a lot of these other NFT marketplaces for the ecosystem, and people are reaching out. So I've heard from Guido from DropSpot in regards to the amount of people that reached out yesterday to him after all this drama with the JPG Store and people just wanting different options. So they're trying to get the communities around these different projects to start using different ecosystems, different marketplaces. So drama in one space, but something really good came out of it. Other people are starting to step up, or I say other marketplaces are starting to step up, and people are using them as well. So we'll see how this marketplaces will pan out over the next few months. It'd be great to see a lot of these other small players, which probably have less than 5% market share in total, start to grow a little bit. That way we have more competition, we have more innovation in the space, we have more ideas, more concepts, more better smart contracts, everything. So we're going to see a lot more activity in the space now, I think, especially around NFTs, and maybe it will attract a lot more creators to the space because of this really cool innovation in tech. Cool. What do we got next here? Now, this is a brand new protocol that's popped up on my radar. They did contact me the other week, and I haven't had a chance to interview them yet. But it's Pangolin protocol. So with a lot of the NFT projects, they will do their sale, and this goes for token sales as well, and they can utilize the same model and concept that they have here for pretty much any token sale or NFT sale. But what they want to do is have the idea of milestones to release funds to projects that are crowdfunding. So it's kind of like how Project Catalyst works at the moment with the proof of milestones, proof of achievements. I think it's proof of achievements. So you don't get the entire funding up front, you get funding in milestones. So you have your contract in place with these guys where they help manage that. You put in your milestones of what you need to achieve by point A, B, C, and D. And then once you reach that, there's a consensus with the community around the project. They'll vote against it. I believe they vote against it. And then, and only then, will funds get released. So a little bit harder in regards to working for your funds, but it stops all these projects raising huge amounts of capital and then disappearing and rug pulling their communities. So it's a protection mechanism for a lot of people in the space. And, I personally really do like this. If it came out a little bit earlier or is fully functional, I would have done something like this to help build that trust with our project. So CardanoPress, not many people know it. We do have an active working product at the moment, and a lot of projects are using it. So hopefully there's that trust level there. But if we were building from scratch, no one would have known if we were able to deliver. And having something like this is really cool. So this would work really nicely for any token launch that's trying to raise. So if it was like DEX Hunter, for example, that was trying to raise and they didn't have a working product yet, this would help protect, act as a protection level for any users getting in there. Same with any NFT project. So check that out if you are interested in creating a project. Might be something to jump on or have a look at least, so that way you can build some trust with your community and have that protection layer in there for them. Might be a little bit harder for you to work because now you have to actually do some extra stuff before you can actually get some additional funding. But that's how it works. You get paid for what you do and what you achieve. This whole Web3 space where you get paid huge amounts of cash for doing nothing other than building a nice fancy website and going out on a lot of Twitter spaces and whatnot. It's very different. So this is pay, receive fund as you go, as you develop and build things. So really good protocol. Can't wait to see what these guys are up to, and I will be doing an interview with the team too. Now, this one here, this is something really interesting. This is a new hardware wallet. And I believe it was Marcel. Marcel, if you're still in the chat, let me know. I believe Marcel put this out, and they did an integration with Keystone Wallet. So this is an open source hardware wallet. This is good. So if you're using a Ledger, one of the hardware devices, I think, there it is. There's mine. it's not open source. So you don't know what's going on within this device. You're purely trusting it. And with a open source one, you can read the code. You can have someone else read the code. You can get them to verify that the wallet is doing what it is expected to do. And that's one of the big selling points of this Keystone wallet. And it's nice. It's a nice looking wallet. So this is Keystone 3 Pro that you can see there. Let me just pull up the website. So these are the devices here. They got a little touch screen. You've got a little seed phrase storage there as well. Come on, load. Now, the guys at Keystone did reach out to me as well, and they said they'll send me one of these devices to try out. So I will give them a review, a really critical review. Might be good, might be bad, but we'll see. I'll try it out with Eternal and see exactly what it's like. But this is the device there. I'll try and get some better product shots here. So Keystone 3. Why do they do that? Okay, there we go. Looks like a smartphone, really. But the really interesting thing here is that it is purely air gapped. So you never plug it into anything. It doesn't connect to a device. It completely stays offline. And that's one of the really important things. So a lot of these other devices, you might like plug into a USB cable that actually has a Wi-Fi transmitter in there and can actually read the data. So, it's our cable isn't safe anymore. And I was watching this security thing the other day where someone gave someone a USB cable to plug in their phone and charge with. And on that USB cable, they had a Wi-Fi connector, and they could use another app to connect to that phone's and function and control that phone from that USB cable. It's crazy. Never seen anything like it, but you can actually just buy them on Amazon. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe I'll put a link down below and you can try it out. But that is really scary, and having devices like this, which are purely 100% air gapped, you have to scan like QR codes or something to use it. I will find out when I get the device, and I'll let you all know how it all works. But that is like security to the next level. And it's so good to see that Eternal is already supporting it. I don't know when this will come out and be fully functional, but having this extra layer of security, this extra hardware wallet support, extra options in the space, brilliant. Can't wait. We'll let you all know when that hardware wallet comes in, and we'll have a little play with it. So that's Keystone. Check that one out. Can't wait to actually see what they have. All right, now here's some feel-good one here. This is Claymates. Claymates have done a bit more of the development in the sandbox space. So here, if you have a Claymates, you can go through their platform now. You can go here and upgrade. Log your upgrade. You can go into clayspace.io/sandbox, unlock, connect your wallet. You need to connect your Cardano wallet and then connect your Polygon wallet. Link it all up because Sandbox game is on a Polygon network. So you do need to connect over there. But then you'll be able to connect in and get your 3D sandbox character and start navigating the space and playing around with it. So check that one out. They're hitting milestones there just in time for NFTxLV. Pretty cool. All right, let's wrap this one up soon. I've got a few more last minute ones here. Bitboy's gone a little bit crazy. If you haven't caught up with his stuff, he went to his former business colleague's house. I think his name's Carlos. Went to trying to get his Lambo back. Carlos doesn't have it. It's just causing drama. And the next thing you know, the cops rock up, arrest him. He had a gun in his car, and his girlfriend in the car. Not his wife, his girlfriend. So interesting stuff. Bitboy, you're always entertaining. I don't trust a single word he says, but still, it's interesting to see what he's up to. All right, now this is back to the Catalyst drama from last week. I'll go through this one real quick. We've only got a few more items here. I know I'm running out of time for this hour, but Darlington from Lido Nation has put together the stats for top funded projects and top budgets as well. And I knew this was here. It just wasn't visible like it is now. But yeah, these are, I'm torn. DC Spark, M Labs, Catalyst Team, Spectrum Labs, especially the first two, they do so much dev work in the Cardano space and the really hard stuff. Building blockchains, it's takes a lot of time, really specialized engineers. They do need money to make that happen. But of course, you can see here they combined, DC Spark and M Labs took 12 million ADA. That's a large portion of the 50 million. So more than a fifth of all the ADA that was available. Sure, fair enough. They're building some big things. And then you can see the general trend here. Some of these really big players, big names in the space, they also got a lot of the ADA as well. But, they're building good things. It's a balance. It's like, sure, they took a lot of the ADA funding, a lot of the allocation, but, they're doing some hard stuff like TX Pipe. They're building infrastructure, they're building code, they're building, all the things that developers need. And without their work, Cardano won't be built. Other people won't be able to build on it. So it's totally fine, I think, that these teams kind of got the large amount of funding that they need. Did they need that much funding? I don't know. Maybe they did. But anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully we see some changes in Fund 11. If you managed to catch the live stream I did with Cardano, with Paul, Josh, Late Game Crypto, and Farid from DApp Central, we talked about this as well at length for about half an hour, and all the different ideas and concepts that everyone's been coming up with to try and make Fund 11 better. And that's the key. We can improve, we can iterate. And the next fund, sure, this one was a little bit rough for people because it was such a big gap between Fund 9 and Fund 10, but Fund 11 hopefully comes a little bit sooner. We can make tweaks and changes. Maybe we can propose different categories that work really well for smaller proposals, and see where we can take things from there. So Fund 11, looking forward to it. I probably won't be participating. I'll sit this one out. It takes way too much time and effort to do all this stuff, but yeah, we'll see how it all goes. Some other disappointing news. Swarm. So Catalyst Swarm was one of those events, the after town hall. So every week when there's a Catalyst town hall on, the team from Swarm would jump in and do the after town hall series. So this will continue the conversations, and a lot of collaborations came out of this space, ideas, concepts, and allowed people to communicate, connect, and chat. So the Swarm has been a really cool idea and innovation, but unfortunately they didn't get funding, so they're finding it hard to continue it unpaid, so they are stopping, unfortunately. So there won't be any more Catalyst after town hall sessions. The last one is today on the 27th, so it'll be, I think it's at a ridiculous time, like 4 a.m. for me. That's why I've never attended. But if you're in the Catalyst space, if you're sad to see this go, see if you can come along and say thank you for Felix and the team that have been running it for such a long time. Again, sad to see them go, but hopefully someone else takes up the mantle and keeps it running. Now, some positive news from the Catalyst stuff. There were a lot of communities that did, a lot of small proposals that did get funding, a lot of community ones as well. So you can see here the European Town Hall did get funded. I think the African one did as well. So, these Catalyst Africa Town Hall operations. So a lot of the other ones did around the world. The Swarm one didn't, unfortunately. But, that's just how the cookie crumbles. It's a little unfortunate. But, Ghana, Vietnamese ones, Japan and Vietnamese expand to Japan and Vietnam with TikTok. Big platform. So, it's a lot of outreach in different communities around the world did get funded. I am happy that it did happen. All right, a couple more here, just 2 more news items, and we can wrap it up. I can look at the comments here. So this is your time. If you have a question or comment, please leave it in the live stream now. Now, Halloween is coming up next month. We have this really cool event. This is another one from the FutureFest team and Veggiemates. Now, the last time I joined the Veggiemates farmers market, that was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. They have this new one here on the 31st of October, Tuesday 31st. Didn't see the time there. Let me just zoom into this, see how it looks. Don't know if you can hear that. Let me just click the sound up a little bit. It's going over my face. But I love these events. They're so much fun. They really, really are so much fun. You just need to download their web client, not the web client, their application. That way you can jump in and actually talk to people as well. Music is great, and you see a lot of familiar voices yeah, and characters from the Cardano community. So check it out. You've got a month to prepare for it. All right. Absolutely love what FutureFest do. And I really hope they are the virtual event provider for the Cardano Summit. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, last feel-good clip here for you guys. This is a cat learning to box. He's watching Mike Tyson here. And then check out the cat. Check him out. Check him out. Look at that. Just like Mike. He's not winning though. Anyway, that's it for this week, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream this time. Just check the live stream chats quickly and see what's going on here. Let's see here. Oscar, whatever happened to Meld? They're launching on another chain. So I think they're launching on AVAX, Arbitrum? No, AVAX. It's a red logo. So they're building over there. They ran through their testnet. They had an incentive program that was running around it, so people would play around with their wallet and give their platform a go. But that's all I've heard recently. I haven't heard any more since that. That was well over a month ago. I'm assuming they're still building over there. And for the Cardano side of things, they were working with IOG on a particular issue. And that's all I've heard. No major updates or anything around that. So what's happening with Meld? Not too sure. I believe they're still building. I believe they're still doing their thing. Curly Knox. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yes. There's a lot of people watching. Please hit that like button. It's actually the only way that live streams get the reach. I've done a couple of things to all of my videos. I've turned off ads. So there are no ads anymore. So you can watch all this ad free. So the least you could do is hit that thumbs up button and give it a like. Otherwise, it won't get the reach. The Google algorithm is geared towards ads. So if you're a really good video that's getting a lot of views, it means that it's more ad revenue for them, and they will prefer to show those videos because of the ad revenue that they're making. Now, because I turned that off, not making any money off this anymore, a thumbs up would be great because that also works the algorithm. Kelly Knox, love what FutureFest do. Just waiting for their Linux launcher. Yeah, I don't know if they'll make a Linux launcher for their desktop application for Linux, but you know, you can at least always jump in on the web browser. Hopefully it works for you, and you can see what how it all plays out there. Anyway, chat's a little quiet at this time. I know it is always quiet. It's 8 a.m. in CET in Europe and Africa. And about 2 a.m. on the eastern seaboard in the States. So not a lot of people online at the moment. So I will wrap it up there. Thank you everyone for joining on the space on the YouTube stream here. Like always, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next live stream.